everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy, and you guys watched me pay off 6 figures worth of student loan debt in 2021. And today I'm going to be sharing our December 2021 budget closeout. This is a video that I've been kind of dreading filming, if I'm being honest, because December was a really crazy month for our budget. There was a lot of money coming in, money going out, and just things kind of feeling like they're flying around everywhere. And at one point I honestly debated not even filming this video, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I have to reconcile my budget anyway, so I might as well post a video, even though I feel like it's going to be kind of crazy to try to explain all the different nuances of this budget, but I will try to do my best. So hang with me. I know it might be confusing because I feel like we had money going in and out in like many different places, so I tried to make it as concise as I can, so hopefully it makes sense. All right, so let's get started with our income. So if you watched my December budget with me, I will link it in the cards below. We did budget for $9,000 for the month of December. December was a 5 paycheck month for us, so we did have an additional entire check that was coming in, and we actually also received a bonus. So our actual income for December from our day jobs was $12,200. So our actual income that we brought in from our day jobs was actually $12,200, which is an increase of $3,200. I do round off our numbers just for ease of like explaining it in this video, and I also just rounded off in my actual budget to add to our cushion. So I just round up a little bit, and then whatever's left is just goes to our cushion. Hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of how we've maintained like a healthy cushion in our checking account over the years, and that's just kind of what works for us. I try not to like nitpick every single penny in our budget, because I used to do that. I used to like zero-based budget down to literal zero from like pennies, and it was really overwhelming. So if you do that right now and you feel like it's too overwhelming, I would highly recommend doing a budget that's a little bit looser and just round it off, just to make it a little bit easier on you, so you're not having to like count pennies and cents. So that is my explanation, my long story for that, but I do feel like it really helped me not feel so stressed out about budgeting when I stopped like tracking every single penny and cent that would come in, and just having a buffer to kind of like catch anything that's a little bit over. So next we had our child tax credit. So this is something that we did budget for in that video as well. We budgeted $550 and we received $550. So that is no difference there. We also had some side hustle income. We never budget for this because we don't count on it for our like actual budget. It's always additional, and it just goes towards whatever our financial goals are. So obviously in December it was paying off debt. So we earned $482 in side hustle income for the month of December. And then we also did a savings transfer. So if you watched my debt-free Friday video, my last debt-free Friday video in December, we talked about this. I obviously did not budget to do this, but we did transfer $1,200 from our emergency fund to our checking account so that we could pay off our debt. That was an additional $1,200. I would kind of like normally not really consider this income. This was one of the things that I was like, how do I even explain this? Like, it's not really income, it's just inflow. So it's money that's flowing into our account, but technically like not really earned income. So I'm calling this total income, but obviously that $1,200 is not really like income necessarily. It's just incoming to our account, if that makes sense. So total was $14,432. So that was the amount of money that we had in our checking account in the month of December to work with. Moving on to our budget. So we had our mortgage. We just had all of our regular fixed expenses for the month of December. We didn't have a lot of like extra or anything, which was really nice because it allowed us to have more flexibility in our budget to pay off debt. So our mortgage, $1,284. That was no difference, and that was at 8.9% of our total income. So obviously these percentages are going to be a little bit skewed because of like this crazy total income amount. So cell phones. So we actually budgeted $140 and we spent $130. I talked a little bit about this in our January budget with me video, but we dropped, my husband had like a device protection on his plan, on his phone plan, and his phone is now at this point a lot older. I think he has an iPhone 10. So we decided to just drop that coverage because at this point, if his phone breaks, we will just pay out of pocket to purchase a new cell phone. So it kind of didn't make sense to like carry insurance on a phone that's not really worth too much anymore. It's not like in super great condition or anything. So if it breaks, we will just purchase him a new one at this point. So that is lowering our cell phone bill per month by about $10, which is cool. Then we had Netflix, which we budgeted $15, came out at $15, and that was at 0.1% of our income. We had our Peloton. This is our our monthly membership, so that's $41, 0.3%. Then we also had our internet. So if you've stuck around for a while, you've heard about our internet saga. We actually did end up switching internet providers in the month of December because we had Spectrum previously. They were going to raise our bill to $75, and I was like, no thank you. I don't want to pay $75 for internet. So we actually ended up switching to AT&T for internet. We've kind of switched back and forth multiple times over the last few years that we've lived here. Those are basically the only two providers that we can get in our area. So that's kind of what our options are. But we were able to maintain this $60 amount that we were paying. And we also got faster internet. And I also got like some gift cards and stuff that I'll talk about in a minute as well. And I've already talked about on my channel if you've been here for a little while. So that was awesome. It definitely ended up being worth the switch because we ended up saving money, getting better internet, and also getting some additional like gift cards for that switch. So next up is preschool for my daughter. So I did budget $524 for this. I did talk about in our December budget though that we were using some vacation credits. Every year we get a certain number of vacation credits. So in the month of December, I had my daughter pulled out 2 days for vacation credits, like over the holidays. And then also her daycare actually closed one day. So it was like very unexpected. It was kind of frustrating, but her daycare ended up having to close because of like a staffing crisis. It's really crazy out there right now, you guys, with like the staffing and stuff. So they did not have enough teachers in the building to actually like open her classroom that day. So there was 3 days of credit this month. So we actually only ended up paying $328 for preschool this month. So that was an additional $196, and that was at 2.3%. So that was an awesome savings for us, even though it was a little bit frustrating to have her daycare closed that one day. I was like, okay, we're going to get a credit for it. So it is what it is. It's okay. So that ended up giving us an additional $196 in our budget for the month. Then moving on to electric. So this is actually our electric usage for November. So I had budgeted $200 and we came in at $194, which is pretty consistent with what it typically is this time of year. It's definitely a little bit more expensive, obviously, as we're using heat and stuff, although it has been unseasonably warm here. So I definitely feel like hopefully our January bill will also be like around $194. In prior years, it's been closer to like $225 plus. So hoping we can save a little bit in January as well. But that was at $194. And then we had spending. So now we're getting into our variable expenses. So we had our spending, which my husband and I usually get $100. I actually ended up giving us a little bit extra this month because of that bonus income and stuff. We just wanted a little bit more spending money, and I felt like that was completely valid given the situation. Obviously, we work really hard, and I felt like we should just get a little bit extra of spending money based on how big of a bonus we got, and it just kind of made sense to me. So I gave us a little bit more spending than I was planning. So we got $180 split between us instead of $100. Then we also had our gas. So this is gas for our car. I budgeted $125 and we spent $104. So we did not spend all of that this month again. That is another budget that we're just keeping an eye on. We did spend more than last month. We still are not spending that whole amount, which is fine. We're going to groceries. So if you watched my grocery haul in December, I talked a little bit about this, but we actually had, from switching to AT&T for our internet, we actually had a $200 gift card, like a Visa gift card. And so I ended up using that at Costco for our December Costco trip. So I was hoping to come in under budget on our groceries. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that this has been a huge struggle for us the last few months. And we were able to actually stick to our budget this month, thankfully. But if you factor back in the like $185 we spent at Costco, we would have definitely gone over a budget. So, you know, I'm happy with it, but also like groceries are just so crazy right now. I'm really thankful that we were able to use that to be able to save a little bit on our groceries this month. But yeah, if you watched my January budget with me, we will be increasing our grocery budget again. We will be increasing it to $600 in January. So it's really just still crazy how much groceries cost now. I feel like my same exact hauls are like, it seems like almost double the price. It's just insane. Then we have our miscellaneous category. So this is just kind of a catch-all category that we use for anything that's like unbudgeted, anything for our kids and etc. Like going to, one of the things that we did in December was we went to a movie with my son. So we went on Tuesday, so it was like $5 Tuesday that they do at our local movie theater. So it was really cheap. It was like $15, but that was one of those things that came out of this budget as well. So it's just kind of a catch-all of like anything that's just not budgeted for. So we spent $173 in the month of December. So that was an additional $27 in our budget that we got back. And I did just really quickly want to talk about Christmas as well, because I'm sure if you're not familiar with my channel, then you're probably wondering, like, did you guys buy Christmas presents? Where's the Christmas spending at? So we actually had a sinking fund for Christmas that all of our Christmas related spending, so like any of our gifts that we purchased, any like additional food items that we purchased, like I had to bring in some stuff for my kids or for my son's school. I had to do that. And then we also bought like teacher gifts and all of that stuff. So everything that encompassed Christmas came out of that sinking fund. So we did not have it in our actual budget. We also did some additional giving in the month of December. So we had multiple different donations that we did. We also sponsored a family. So there was a lot of additional spending that you're not seeing in here because I just pull that directly from our savings account, so that I usually don't reflect in these videos just because it's coming directly from that savings account that we've been saving all year. So that is my explanation on Christmas, because obviously that is not factored into any of these categories. So our final category here is dining out. We had budgeted $200 and we actually spent $236. So we did go a little bit over by $36, but again, I'm pretty happy with this. Eating out is a struggle area for us. And so as long as I feel like I give myself a little bit of leeway with like being like $20-ish over. So we weren't too far over that. So overall, I'm okay with that. Normally, next we would be talking about our sinking funds, but we actually did not fund our sinking funds in the month of December. This was planned. If you watched my December budget with me, we talked about it a little bit in that video, but we had planned not to fund our sinking funds in the month of December because obviously we wanted to possibly become debt-free, which we ended up doing. So that was great. So we did not have any sinking funds or anything going to savings in the month of December. So the only other thing that we did in December was debt payoff, which we ended up sending $11,300, which was our entire final balance. So that again was partially that savings of $1,200 went directly to this. So that was at 78.3% of our income. Obviously that percentage is a little bit skewed because of the additional income we had. But yes, I am really proud of that because, you know, I feel like it was very tempting to be like, we got a bonus, like, you know, I want this and this and this, and I would love to do this and go on a vacation and all that stuff, but we put it directly to debt. So it felt really good and we are debt free, which I feel like still has not completely set in for me yet, but I am trying to like wrap my head around it. So let's go over our little bit of recap down here. So we did actually go a little bit negative this month. So our total income was $14,432. Our total expenses were $14,485. And that leaves us with a difference of negative $53. So again, if you've watched my budget closeout videos before, we do occasionally go negative. We also occasionally put money in. So I think October was one of the months that we were positive. And again, with the rounding, like we're not actually off $53. It's probably like 40 something, 30 something, like with rounding and stuff. So it's not a huge deal. We still have a buffer in our checking account, so I'm not worried about it. And I knew that we were probably going to be going over a little bit this month because of all of the crazy spending, and I wasn't able to watch our accounts as much as I normally do. So I'm just glad it wasn't worse, to be honest. So that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing our December budget, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys.